Hey, shalom, shalom, Akim. Giving all the glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham HaKwadash. And double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. And a sincere shalom to the hopeful elect out there. Shalom to you all. Hey, check this headline out. It says U.S. braces for massive anti-Trump protest as organizers expect millions. You see that? And we already see what's happening with these LA riots where they got the Marines out there along with the National Guard. Okay, so it was escalating, man, and now they're talking about another big one. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. It says massive protests against President Donald Trump are scheduled across the United States on June 14th. And what's today is June 11th, right? So just 3 days from now. It says with organizers expecting millions of people to take part, Axios reported on June 7th. The rallies coincide with a military parade in Washington that Trump is staging to mark his birthday. The event, called No Kings, is set to take place in more than 1,800 cities across all 50 states, as well as in several countries outside the U.S. Organizers say June 14th will be an opportunity to reflect the absurdity of the MAGA regime and its clowns. Donald Trump wants tanks on the streets and a televised show of dominance for his birthday, the organizers said in a statement. The mass demonstrations are being organized in response to the Washington military parade marking Trump's 79th birthday and the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. However, no large-scale rallies are planned for Washington itself, as organizers have deliberately chosen other cities to avoid direct confrontation. Yeah, because imagine you have that, all these protesters next to Trump celebration with a bunch of tanks. That shit ain't going to end well. All right, but nevertheless, the Lord can still bring about chaos, man. All right, because these things are prophesied in the scriptures. It says a parallel protest campaign called Ban the Clowns, organized by Women's March, will also take place. More than 13,000 participants have already been confirmed in 320 cities. Map of planned protests in the U.S. for June 14th. Look at that. Hey, that sounds like the perfect blueprint for Jacob's trouble, man. All right, especially if these elites themselves are the ones who are orchestrating these protests. All right, it may very well be a setup, and they'll get you people out there. They get you comfortable. Next thing you know, boom, this devil could come down with great wrath, man. All right, stay off them streets on June 14th, Yasharahla. All right, be circumspect, be wise. Okay, keep your eye on this because, hey, this could be something big, man. It says migrant protests erupt in Los Angeles. The protests in Los Angeles began on June 6th during raids conducted by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, across the city, where more than 82% of the population is of Latin American origin. On June 8th, cars and buildings were set on fire and reports of looting emerged. Several people were injured. The same day, Trump ordered 2,000 National Guard troops to be deployed to the city. The troops pushed back a group of demonstrators near the federal building in downtown Los Angeles. Mayor Karen Bass and California Governor Gavin Newsom criticized the move, saying the city's law enforcement was capable of handling the protests. They accused the Trump administration of escalating tensions by sending in the National Guard. On June 9th, Newsom told Fox News that California was suing Trump's administration for the illegal deployment of the National Guard to suppress protests in Los Angeles. and it says, California Attorney General Rob Bonta said the same day he was confident the state would win its lawsuit against Trump's administration. Yes, we believe we will win. We only file lawsuits that we're confident about based on the law, facts, and our analysis. We wouldn't be filing if we weren't sure of success, Bonta said. On May 10th, Trump told supporters in the Oval Office that the National Guard units would remain in the Los Angeles area until the danger is gone. And this is just another setup for him to bring in more military personnel, man. All right, they got all these different protests, man. All right, you know, hey, this right here could be Jacob's trouble, man. If all these erupt and then he sends in police and then, you know, the people start firing back and then it becomes like a big-ass civil war, man. All right, let's get the scriptures out. This is Mark 13:33. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is, right? We don't know exactly when Yahweh Shai going to return, but we know according to biblical prophecy that there's one major prophecy left, okay? And that's the mandating of the MOTB, which ties in together with Jacob's trouble, which we know they're going to need Jacob's trouble. They're going to need chaos, right, in order to bring order out of chaos. So that's what we're waiting for. And we can see it right here, man, with these different protests, you know, Israelites getting thrown in concentration camps, getting thrown in prisons, not being fed. They over there losing their mind, crying all day long, grown-ass men. You see? So, hey, this ain't no joke, man. The Lord is punishing the wicked of our people. So, you know, like the scripture says, pray without ceasing. Okay? Also, watch and pray, man, because you want to be in the right mindset. You want, you know, the Lord to have you ready for Jacob's trouble, man. Pray to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai that you be able to bear Jacob's trouble. All right? That you be strong, courageous, and have faith in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Because when this time comes, it's going to be a time like no other. All right? And also, I wanted to bring up this headline from 2020. Okay, this is an old article from 2020, July 23rd, 2020. It says Trump wrongly blames protests Mexico for C-19 spread. So as you can see, all right, a little bit of history here. You know, there's a saying, if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. All right, this is very recent history. Donald Trump has blamed protests before for the spread of illnesses. And as we know, there's a couple of illnesses on the radar right now. You got C-19, which they say is mutating. And then you got H5N1, which they say could end up being a full-blown emergency worldwide that could kill half the population. Okay, so they're saying, you know, it could ultimately spread and mutate so that it can cause illness, you know, through airborne transmission, you know, not just through the food. Okay, so, hey, this could either be, this could be the start of Jacob's trouble, you know, with all these protests. It could, you know, it could get us closer to Jacob's trouble, right? Or it could cause the elite to have an excuse to, you know, get their planes out and start spraying whatever new illnesses they've been developing, okay? Because we know that these devils, okay, we know what these devils are capable of, man, okay? And whether it be organic or whether it be, you know, made in a lab, the scriptures told us there would be pestilence, okay? Let's get that in the scriptures. All right, this is Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation. Okay, speaking about those race wars, okay, and kingdom against kingdom, okay. We already see all these different wars over there in the Middle East, okay. It says, and there shall be famines, right, lack of food, and pestilences, right, C-19, H5N1, right? The bird illness. And earthquakes in diverse places, which everyone that see, you could go online right now and see how many earthquakes there were today. All right, the earthquakes have been off the charts. Okay, so you see the Lord is very merciful, man. All right, we see these things happening already and intensifying, all right? And Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai still has the doors of mercy wide open, okay? You know, the men of Great Millstone are out there on the highways and byways. They're making videos. Them and their affiliates, like myself, are making videos day in and day out to warn you of the destruction that's coming to America, okay? Thermonuclear destruction is coming ultimately, all right? But it starts with these, these wars and pestilences and ultimately Jacob's trouble, which is going to lead to the mandation of the MOTB, and then the destruction, man. We're right at the door, okay? Everything, all these prophecies being fulfilled are right at the door, man. All right, so Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is coming very soon, Akim. All right, keep the patience, keep the faith, keep believing in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. I pray that lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect, giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Warash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And a sincere shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom wa abad babal. Shalom.